Welcome everyone. Good evening. Today's topic of discussion is 3 ways to complete your healing process fast. So, uh, there are a few new people in the group here today. So, just I will brief about how this discussion is going to be. So, it's going to be interactive. We expect all of you to talk and interact with the topic and the things that are going on. And this is going to be an open conversation. We will be definitely sharing a few pointers, but we would like to know your experiences, your thoughts, your views on the same. And whenever you want to talk, you can just unmute yourself, raise your hand, and you can start talking. So let's begin the conversation. Yeah. So today's topic is 3 ways to complete your healing process fast. So when we are talking about the healing process, so we are talking about healing from a certain situation or a certain trigger or a certain belief system, conditioning, whatever we have within ourselves, and how do we go forward with it so that we can finish the process and we can go to a point, reach a point where we can say that, okay, now I have reached the space of acceptance. And like a karma said, a few days ago in a quote, that acceptance means that it doesn't impact me anymore. So reaching that state where you become totally okay with your situation, with whatever conditioning or whatever belief or whatever problem issue that you had, and you have come to a point of acceptance. So what are these 3 ways? So these 3 ways are actually going to be something which actually delay this process of healing yourself, right? So we will go through the pointers one by one. In case you have any question in between, you can unmute yourself, ask the question, raise your hand. Now, the first thing is dealing with resistance, right? So now the thing is that we, let's suppose, are going through a situation of grief and we want to get out of grief, right? So the statement itself says that I want this to get over. I want to get out of feeling this grief in me, right? So this is going to sound very counterintuitive because the same thing which we want to get out of, we are saying that we are resisting it. And it's like, you know, a cat. So the more you chase the cat, the more it runs away. It doesn't want to come with you. So it's like chasing, reaching that state such a long time and chasing, but it's just not coming. So the first thing that actually stops us from healing ourselves is resistance, because we are resisting that feeling, we are resisting going through it, we want to get out of it, and we are just trying to shut ourselves off. We don't want to feel that way, so we try all the different things in the world to get to not feel that way. Even people who are like really into practicing meditation and all that, a lot of people start using meditation as a spiritual bypassing tool because they don't want to feel their emotions, they don't want to go through it, so they will just go somewhere, escape the reality with so that they don't have to face it, and they'll sit for meditation and then they'll come out and say, now I'm calm and I'm fine, and um, I am I'm okay, but they have actually not dealt with the situation. So it's like that you are river rafting and you're going, water is going in a certain direction. But then it's like you have, four parts of you sitting on the boat. Two boats are trying to get out of the situation, but there are two boats because they are resisting feeling this way and they are resisting what is actually going on. They are paddling backwards. So actually, you're not going anywhere. So you're trying both things at one point of time, trying to move ahead, get out of your situation, but by avoiding it. by resisting it, by rejecting it, by saying no to it. So it is very counterintuitive, but when you are going through, let's suppose, grief, or you're going through anger, or when you're going through any emotion which is sadness or depression or anxiety, so the way out of pain is through it, not by rejection of it, right? And the more we become okay with it, that doesn't mean that you go out and you start screaming at people. It is, yeah, we are talking about being with yourself when you're feeling it, being there. So when you're feeling anger, taking a pause, being with that anger, not because you want to, of course, we all want to get past that anger and we want to feel good and we want to feel calm, but not by suppression, because that suppression is actually not taking us anywhere, because there are parts of you which want to go out of it again, and there are parts of you which are actually saying that I don't want to feel this, I don't want to feel this. So when it comes to cleansing yourself, all these things have to come up so that you can, clean them. So that is the first point, which actually delays our process. Or even I would say that when we are in a resistant state, we actually simply just stop our healing process and we just live in that, what should I say, जामा पहनाना बोलते हैं जिस चीज को, तो हम जामा पहना देते हैं of all the tools and techniques and blah 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 everything that we have around us. और जो actual चीज है जो अंदर दबा हुआ है, we don't face it and we just camouflage this thing and we don't want to see it, right? So it's the same thing, it's the same ignorance.
I want to say something on this. So when Anamika is talking about rejection, then it's not just rejection word. I would say that when you're hearing rejection, then don't just stick to the word rejection only. Sometimes the rejection could be in the form of denial. So also be aware that is it denial? Another form of this is that false positivity. So when we become over optimistic and just try to deal with the situation with positivity, so rather than actually looking at it, sitting with it, dealing with it, we just make it, we deal with it by adopting a positive mindset, so to speak. So adopting a positive mindset in this situation can be too early and too destructive. So the word rejection, maybe some people may feel that no, I don't reject. So I would say just don't hear the word reject only. Also understand that any other form is also rejection, a denial, or putting a positive spin at things and all that. So uh, this these uh, this tendency can delay the healing process actually, because there is no shortcut or bypassing if we just deny that it doesn't exist, that problem doesn't exist, or we deny it from a positivity point of view. Just be positive. Just no, this is not the way to think. So just deal with it the way it is, in the raw form. Whatever it is, it is. So not camouflaging it, not rephrasing it, not calling it something else. Just the way it is, trying to see it the way it is. And it can be very daunting. It can be very intimidating. And those are some of the reasons why we reject or we deny or we put a positivity spin on it, because it's just too intimidating to face it and look at it in the eyes. So be aware of that tendency if that is happening, because that is going to delay the process. Yeah, Ananta, to you.
Yeah, yes. And it's it's not easy, right? So the very thing which we are trying to overcome, if somebody comes and tells us you first have to face it, so the same argument goes out goes within inside ourselves is that, but I don't want to face it, right? So just a second. Yes. So the same thing is that we don't want to face it, but that is going to delay the process. And that is what happens with most of us. We meet people who are going through a situation from years and years and years, and they have been working, and they still feel that they have not reached a point where they could say that, okay, now this is fine for me. I'm fine with this. I'm at peace with this. So, one small exercise that you can do when you are going through anything in your life is by asking a question, contemplating on a question. What am I not willing to face in this situation? So, if you want to write this question down in big letters somewhere, whenever you sit to contemplate about any situation which you want to heal, or any trigger, or anything which is coming up on surface, what am I not willing to face in this situation, right? So this will point you towards seeing things more the way they are, right? Now, moving to the second point of what delays the process, which is kind of interlinked with the first point because we use the word emotions and feelings so many times. So most of us are disconnected with our emotions and feelings. Now, as we are talking about moving fast and going faster in this process, emotions and feelings are something which are the fastest way and the easiest way for us to gauge, is because we can feel them, right? You go through a situation, an angry situation, and you'll just see that you can your body starts reacting, your mind starts bringing the thoughts. So second thing, when it comes to your emotions and feelings, most people are not aware of what exactly are they feeling, what exactly is going on inside, right? So one very important point is to identifying and naming your emotions and feelings, right? So just sit in one place, and whenever any such situation comes up and you're getting strong intense emotions, be in that space and try to name those emotions. That, okay, at surface level, this seems like anger, but what if I can dissect it and disintegrate it and see it in different parts? Can I name and identify that this is what I feel? So I am not telling you to label those emotions as good or bad. No, no. It's not about labeling anything. It's about naming. It's about identifying. When we identify these emotions at the gross level and we go to the subtle levels of what exactly they are, what is their origination point, what exactly they make us feel, then we get a lot of clarity on how exactly we have to deal with it. And the best part of it is you cannot get these answers without going to the part that why do I feel this way, right? So this gives you more clarity of why you feel what you feel. And without that, obviously, we cannot move forward, because it's important that we know why we feel the way the way we feel. So this is the second pointer, which can help you fasten the process. Now going to the third point. So a lot of people come and say that I meditate for 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hours, or I cannot meditate, or I can meditate, or I just cannot sit for 5 minutes, regardless of what the case is, right? So we talk a lot about contemplation. So contemplation is not exactly using your logical, rational thinking mind, but it is actually being in the receptive mode, being in the receiving mode of getting the answers, right? And to get the answers, you first have to quieten your mind, and then you are able to receive those answers. Now, every time something happens, so rather than jumping over a solution or trying to figure out a solution, take a pause. And even if you meditate, that's good, that's great. Continue your meditation. But along with that, if you meditate for 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever, then what about the rest, 16, 18, 20 hours of your day, or 22 hours of your day? So this point is about being in that meditative state of being, where fine, when you're meditating, but when you're not, it's not like you're just gone, and now you're just not even there, and you're just again, drooling over all these matters, and you're so annoyed and agitated, and you're so much carried away by things. So coming back and being in that meditative state of being. Now, how to be in that meditative state of being? So there are basically two pillars which are very important, which are incredibly important to fasten this process. First is awareness, right? Awareness of not just the outside things. Awareness of the outside things, great, fine. You can have that awareness, become mindful of that. Awareness of the inside thing also, that what are my feelings and emotions? What am I exactly going through? What sensations I'm getting in my body? What are the thoughts coming? So not, of course, 24/7 for the whole day, all the time, 365 days. Yes, takes a lot of practice, right? Because we get into work and we engage into a lot of work, we get busy, we get engrossed. But whenever you get time, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, come back, take a pause, bring awareness to what exactly is happening within you, right? Then the second pillar is equanimity. So becoming aware, that saying that yes, this is what is happening, but then again acting in the same way, reacting in the same way, changes nothing, right? So equanimity actually plays a very major role in dissolving these patterns which we have. What does that mean? What does it mean to be equanimous in these situations? Whenever something arises and you're able to observe it as it is, the way it is, not running away from it, not getting engrossed in it, just observing it arise and pass away, and observing it without a judgment, right? So you're becoming anxious. You observe anxiety as something which is passing through you. You don't become your anxiety, right? So anxiety has come up. I'm observing the anxiety. When it passes away, I'm observing it is passing away. So those are the two pillars of being in that meditative state. Now, in the beginning, it would just be 5 seconds, it would just be 10 seconds. But like everything else, practice takes us forward. So it is now 5 seconds, someday it would be 30 seconds, someday it would be 1 minute, someday it would be 5 minutes. And the more you become aware here, equanimous here, the thing is that you may start only with your thoughts, you may start only with your sensations or your emotions, any of these elements, or maybe your breath. The beauty of this is that once you have done this nicely for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, the circle expands to various other areas. But for that, you have to practice it, and practice it for like small amounts of time, but consistency is what is the most important thing. So all of these three pointers are important, and if done properly, I guess what I can say in my personal experience, that they all play a very important role in just accelerating this process, because we are not living in denial. We are in able to see things as they are. And it's like, there is this saying, what you resist persists, and what you accept simply dissolves. So when we are able to see things as they are, and we are able to be equanimous with it, we are aware of it, it simply arises and passes away. Because if you observe simply the nature of life, it's nothing but impermanence. Be it a good thing, be it something good in your life, be it something bad in your life, it comes and it goes away. So no two moments are the same. So they are always unique, they're always different. These are the few things which we have observed, and we could jot down for all of you. So now we will open up the conversation. All of you who want to share your experience, add on to what I said, or if you have any question or anything you're going through, then you can raise your hand and start sharing. Anything you would like to add, Akarma?
Yes, yes. I want to say a few things and then we can start the interaction. So, what Anamika explained is are some of the steps that can help to fasten the process. Now, the thing that I want to put forward over here is that in my experience of coaching in 20 plus years, one of the important lessons that I have learned from this whole thing, talking to various people, is that many people may know some of these things that we talked about, or all of these things that we talked about, right? And yet there hasn't been as much difference or improvement as they wanted. They still have not achieved the result satisfactorily. Why is that? So that is something to note here. The process is this, but there is a saying that Albert Einstein once said that the mind that creates the problem can't solve the problem. So the biggest problem lies in us doing this DIY. That's the biggest problem. That when the resistance is there and the emotions are there, and we are in that state of mind, and we are also trying to do our own brain surgery at the same time. So no matter how good a brain surgeon is, the topmost brain surgeon in the world cannot do their own brain surgery. They need another person to do their brain surgery. And this is like that. So the problem comes when we try to do our own brain surgery and we don't get satisfactory results. Uh, Having said that, another thing which I have also observed, which will be there, is that many people are listening to influencers or other people, which is fine. Like, say, some people may follow 𝗕렇게 𝗵𝗵, very popular in terms of relationship guidance and all that, or Sadhguru, or other kind of role models who are experts in this field. So that's fine, no problem in that. Listening to all that is fine. And you may feel that you are getting the guidance, but that's still not guidance because those people are not speaking to you directly. They are just sharing whatever they know with everyone. So you are still interpreting their words. You are still in the same frame of mind, either in resistance or in emotion or suppression, grief, whatever it is that you're going through, you're still in that, and now you're interpreting someone else's words in your own way. They are not coming and clarifying to you saying, no, 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 that's not what I meant. I actually meant this. They just said, you just heard a video, you just maybe attended an event that they spoke or something, and then they said something and they're gone. So they're not clarifying anything for you. So it's not personal in nature. So just be very careful about these kind of setups because these delay the healing process. These kind of things delay the healing process. I'm not saying they're saying anything wrong, you shouldn't follow them or anything. No, I'm not saying that. I hear 𝗕렇게 𝗵𝗵, I'm a very big fan of her, and no problem in what she is saying and all that. What I'm saying is that when I'm listening to her video or whatever, it's just general. I'm not talking to her. I'm not clarifying anything. She's just saying something. I interpret in my own way and done. She may not actually mean any of that, how I interpreted her words. So this setup can be destructive. I know people who have been trying to heal themselves for years, 4, 5, 6, 10 years. They are going from one to the other, and they have not got the result because of this reason that they are trying to do their own brain search. So that's just what I wanted to elaborate. Let's just open up the floor. Anyone wants to say anything, comments, questions, remarks, insights, anything? Yes, Shruti, go ahead. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hi, Karma. Hi, Namika. Hi, everyone. So
Hi,
first of
Shruti.
all, I did not I did not want to miss this session. So I was traveling today, and I checked in the hotel couple of hours back only, and I made sure to join this meeting today.
Good to have you.
Yeah, yeah. And I was even missing both of you. So, so yeah, I want to open the conversation, like whatever Akarma was saying. So I feel I'm the living example of whatever Akarma said, because I did the same thing. I have been a seeker since years, and um, grown up in a chaotic environment. So I tried everything for years, like decade, I could say. So I used to listen so many spiritual leaders, many, and whatever they said all made sense to me. I do not like, I prefer not to think like he's not right or wrong. I think, yeah, everyone is right. Like everyone is good on, mostly, like we definitely listen to sensible people, so mostly they are saying whatever they are saying is right, but I never was able to do the real work until I met start doing work with Akarma and Anamika, and I actually started understanding and seeing the difference, like what it is to feel the feelings actually, and how much difference it makes. So I can totally relate, because they are saying the correct thing, but sometimes you're not getting the context, or you're not on the same page, or there are so many layers to it. So, but actually, the process is simple yet difficult to understand that what actually has to be done. So, but yeah, I only was able to figure this out, like with the steps what Anamika has suggested, to feel the feelings and accept and see them the way they are. And believe me, it actually, after at least like continuous awareness for a month or two, it will, I won't say it will go. Definitely it won't. But you will start seeing the difference. Like you won't get affected that much. You are better. You can come back to normal state sooner. So yeah, I can relate to it.
Thanks, Shruti. Yes, thanks.
Thank you. Glad that you
That was
joined.
good.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Kunal, you've raised your hand. You want to say? You have to unmute and talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi Anamika, hi Karma. I happen to have, visited your some post on LinkedIn, and all of a sudden I found this group and just joined today itself. And it's
Okay,
quite
welcome.
help. Yeah, thank you. It's quite helping and quite informative as well. So I have a question basically, going through the discussion and the suggestions you were giving. So when Anamika was saying that acceptance is one step wherein you accept things and you imagine or see yourself going through those feelings and observing that you are passing through this anxiety, for example, or let's say some grief, for example. Let's say if you have already accepted things, what the end result is, that this has happened and this is what I'm going through, okay, and you have accepted it. But how do you accept the past in terms of, when you are not expecting somebody to change, for example, you have accepted the end result. Okay, this has happened, this didn't work, and but you're not able to accept situation where you saw a person who was, let's say, you couldn't imagine a person behaving in such
So
a certain way.
I just want to ask you one question before you elaborate more. I want to ask you one question. How can someone not accept past? How is it? So can you teach me how not to accept past? Suppose I
Um,
don't know. Can you teach me? What do I have to do to? Because so what I'm coming from is that तो हो गया ना वो तो done है. So how do I not accept what has just happened? Can you
um,
teach me that?
Probably through hope. Like when you have a human person has hope, then
But
they are
hope
not
is
able to.
future. Hope is future looking. Hope is not hope. Past तो हो गया ना. When you use
Right.
the word hope, it's future looking. It's forward looking.
Hmm.
You are saying that I am not able to accept the past. So my question is, can you teach me that how to do that?
No, acceptance for the past is also there that this has happened, but it's a disbelief. Like you're in a shock that okay, some person reacted and behaved in certain way all of a sudden, and so how do you deal with that? Acceptance is fine. That take okay, things have ended, for example, but a person changing, that acceptance is not coming, for example, because of hope maybe that one day the person will react the same way that I'm sorry, blah blah, and let's move forward, even on a friendly matter, friendly note only. But that disbelief is still there, for example. Then how do
So
you?
so can you then, what did you accept? So when you say, I have accepted, but I still don't trust, you're saying that this will happen again. So you're saying you don't trust it. So what exactly was accepted then?
Accepted is the end result that things, for example, have ended. But why they ended, that's a disbelief.
So you have not accepted it.
Mhm.
You have not accepted that this person is like this only. That is
Right,
why it's
right,
disturbing me, right?
right. That acceptance is not okay. That acceptance is not coming. That a person, for example, have dealt with you in certain way. End result is accepted, but that behavior has not been
You have
acceptable to
not
the mind.
accepted. Yeah, yeah. So acceptance is not there.
Mhm. Okay, okay, okay.
Mm. Yes, maybe you want to say something.
Yeah, hi, Karma and Namika. It was, great hearing you guys. On the healing steps, basically. My question, somewhere is relatable to Kunal's question, but not exactly the same one. My thing about acceptance and then, going towards healing is something different. It is just that when something has been done with you, right? It has been over the years, you're just trying to come out of that particular thing which has happened to your life. And because what I feel is like few things happens in our life which make us in a certain way, how we do the other things in going future, or how we perceive things coming up to us, or how we accept people coming up to us. Because this is my experience over the life, because something has happened over so many years. Every time I think that it has been accepted, it has been healed, I have come over that particular thing, I have forgiven that person, but somehow one or the other, a basic trigger, you know can revive everything again, and there is some kind of feeling that you are again standing on the same position where you were like
Yes.
so many
Yes.
years
So
back.
then that is a good indication to you that if you feel that you have done your healing process, then it's not done.
Yes,
That
right.
is,
Because
uh,
those triggers, if it is like completely healed, then none of the trigger
then
can affect us.
none of the triggers will affect you. Exactly.
Yeah,
Anamika started the conversation. I think you were there at that time. She said that,
right.
what is acceptance? Acceptance here, let's just clarify the word acceptance first, because once you understand what we are talking, because we use this word very loosely and we think
Mm.
conditional, ye kar liya, wo nahi kiya. So acceptance means that it is not going to disturb me anymore.
Yes,
So if you reach that stage, if you can ask that question, is has this stopped disturbing me? Then the acceptance has come. Then there is full acceptance.
but I
Until
feel
then,
that there are certain moments when we feel that now we are, uh, ahead of that particular baggage, and now things have been sorted. But
but then फिर
somehow
कुछ
or
हो
the
जाता है,
other,
फिर आ जाता है.
and we are again back to the square point in
So
all
it's
those
not done.
thoughts and
So
yeah.
simple answer, it's not done. Work is still pending.
Yeah, right. So that was my question, like how to, there is a healing is a long process. And for me, if I'll say that it has been taken years, I have read all spiritual healing books. I have been, listening to all these gurus and, leaders who talk on life coaches and everything, uh, I feel personally is that, when I hear certain things, it make a certain difference in my approach, but just to a specific duration. After that,
Exactly.
yeah,
That is what I was saying. I was explaining that when Anamika finished what she was saying, I said that this delays the process because when you are hearing all these people, gurus or life coaches and all that, they're not speaking to you directly. So what happens is, if you are in resistance or you're not able to see something, if you are in resistance or denial, we talk about grief. So grief is is something we are using it in a very loose sense over here. It's a feeling of loss, and that loss could be someone's death, someone leaving, divorce, separation, loss of a relationship, anything, any of that. There is a grief attached to it. So
yeah,
when we are going through all that, we are listening to all these people. These words, their words could uh, give us a lot of solace and calmness, and we connect. But then nothing happens because there is no self work that we are doing. We are not sitting and contemplating on this, that what are the wounds, why I am getting triggered by these things, why this thing is disturbing me so much. So none of these gurus or life coaches are sitting with you and hand holding you and making you accountable. No, you have to see, you can't run away. So what happens is, when no one is there, this is the reason why I said this, that do it with someone's help. Don't do it yourself. It will take years. As you're saying, it takes long time. It could take lifetime if you are doing it. It could take many lifetimes if you are doing it by yourself, because you are doing your own brain surgery. So
yeah,
that's the problem, that you need to take help. You need to be in the back seat, not driving the car all the time. So we are trying to drive the car, but we are also trying to be in the back seat at the same time. It doesn't work like that. So when you are taking help, when someone is hand holding you, they're not going to let you skip. So many times it will come that there will be a very hard question that you have to face. And if there is no accountability, no one is there to actually hold you and say, no, you can't run from this, you have to answer this, you have to face this, then you won't, because there's nobody. Those gurus or life coaches you are listening to online, they're not going to come to your home and handhold you and say, "No, Nidhi, you have to answer this question. You have to sit with this question and tell me the answer of this thing." They're not going to do that. So
yeah,
if you are not ready to face that question, if that is scaring you, if that is intimidating you, you leave it, and then you will get distracted by something else, and then it will just keep going on like that only. And
true,
years क्या हो तो लाइफ टाइम्स निकल जाती हैं उसमें तो. So when you say long, in my opinion, it will be a never ending. It's not long, it's never ending. But if
yeah,
you are working with someone who knows how to help you and handhold you and hold you accountable and not leaving your hand until you actually face it and uh, answer that, तो हो जाता है फिर. That is why we call it that it's fast. Fast here we don't mean कि एक दिन में हो जाएगा या 4 दिन में हो जाएगा. हाँ, लेकिन अगर if you commit yourself to that process, if you commit and tell someone, no, I need your help and you have to hold me accountable, you have to get me out of this, tell me what is the process, what do I need to face, what is it that I need to contemplate on, what do I need to look. So then that person can guide you, handhold you, and get you out of this phase. So in our practice, we have got people out of these things in few months time, 2 months, 3 months, maximum 6 months. So depending on that, कुछ लोगों को तो 1-2 महीने में ही रिजल्ट आने शुरू हो जाते हैं. People who have been on this journey for 6, 10 years, 20 years, and all of a sudden now when they have no way to escape because we don't let them escape. कोच के साथ हमारे साथ काम करना इजी नहीं है. शुचि इज ऑन द कॉल एंड शी इज देयर. हमारे साथ काम करना इतना इजी नहीं है बिकॉज हम छोड़ते नहीं हैं, क्योंकि
yeah.
दैट इज द थिंग, यू हैव टू होल्ड द पर्सन नो मैटर व्हाट. सो वो नहीं होता है डीआईवाई में, वो नहीं होता है. सो वो लॉन्ग तो होगा ही, लॉन्ग के नेवर एंडिंग होगा वो.
Yeah, because I spoke to 2, 3 people who, because I am, as you know me, that I am from a group where so many single parents are there, everybody is, having their own emotional traumas, and everybody is having different struggles. So there are few people there who said that, they people are working as healers or something like that. I spoke to one of them, and when I initially started talking to her, I didn't felt any connect that, I can open out, because when you talk to somebody with regard to healing, I think even with a psychiatrist also, when you start talking, you should be having you should feel a connect. So
True,
I guess then only you will be able to open up.
true,
She sent
true,
me few videos from YouTube and few chakras to, look into them. I felt all those things irrelevant as per, because I thought that this is not will be helpful for my thing.
true.
So, and she said that, you need to practice this more. But in the first beginning only, I felt that, if I'll be sharing this, there will be no use coming after.
True. Possible है. मतलब, I don't know what she shared with you and all that, so not going in the details of all that, but
Yeah.
I agree with you कि there has to be a connect between the coach and the client
Hmm.
to for the person to open up. But then that could be a personality thing. So there are sometimes we connect with certain people and sometimes we don't connect with certain people.
Yeah.
So as simple as that. So ठीक है, you didn't connect with that healer, it's fine. So find another healer.
Yeah.
That's
And
not an
it
issue.
actually, sorry to interrupt, but yeah,
हाँ,
even
please.
I tried to connect with many people before them. So it's also from my personal experience, like when you relate, you can relate. So,
Yeah.
and you're right, like then only you can open up, and there is a connect, a natural connect with people whom you can open up and share. So yeah, it's my personal opinion, like sometimes you have to find people you can connect with.
Yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
And I have felt like, even after having so many things going across, even after, uh going through so many things, but there are certain personalities like me. uh I just generally don't prefer to share my problems, or I generally don't prefer to show everybody that I am, going through certainly things. So there are so many people who come up to me, and there are so many people who talk to me, and people find me the most positive person around. But this is my self introspection, that I don't know why they find me positive, but I feel that, when it comes to my own things and my own traumas from the past, I am not at all positive. So this is
It's
also one of the
natural. This
imbalance
is
in my
natural.
personality.
No, it's not imbalance, Nidhi. It's not imbalance at all. This is actually natural. What you are describing is totally normal, and this is how it is. This is why I'm saying that you can be the world's best brain surgeon. You cannot do it on yourself. So
Yeah.
you can be a good guide and a coach for other people.
Yeah.
But when it comes for you to look at your own things, you can't. So what happens is many times this happens. We feel that, oh, I am a coach. I can help so many people. Why can't I help myself? You can't.
Yes. Right.
Simple is this. This is just basic, plain, simple, common sense thing that I'm saying, that don't feel that people are finding you positive and they are finding that your advice is very good and all that. Then why I am so you can't. But your words can be very helpful for other people. You can be a very good coach and very good mentor or advisor to other people because you're not personally invested in their problem.
Yeah.
But when you are introspecting about your own things, then lot gets triggered. So even when you, the same questions you will ask another client, you try to ask the same questions yourself, you will go into something. So let's say I'm an NLP practitioner. So
Mm.
I help people to come out of addiction using NLP. I can't perform NLP on myself because NLP puts the other person into a trance. So I can't go in trance and then perform NLP on myself. So I need another NLP practitioner if I need NLP for myself.
Right.
So this is totally natural and totally normal. And just today only at 12 o'clock we had a clarity call with a coach only. So this person is a coach and she's going through her relationship issues herself. But she had a call with us and we talked about it, and that is how it is. Just because she's a coach and she helps others does not mean that she can get herself out of that because she's in it. आप गड्ढे में खुद गिरे हुए हो, आपको गड्ढे से बाहर निकालने के लिए कोई और चाहिए। तो
Right.
आप जब बाहर होते हो तो दूसरों को गड्ढे से निकाल सकते हो। अब आपको ये लगेगा पर मैंने तो हजारों लोगों को गड्ढे से बाहर निकाला, कभी मैं खुद क्यों नहीं निकल पा रहा? क्योंकि खुद गड्ढे में हो।
Right.
अभी आपको हेल्प चाहिए, एक्सटर्नल कोई बाहर होना चाहिए उस गड्ढे के जो आपको निकाल सके उसमें से।
Yes, true.
Is
So it's
one
not imbalance
Sakarma,
at all. Mhm.
It's like a surgeon cannot do his own surgery.
Absolutely, absolutely cannot. So it's just plain and simple like that. This is why I'm stressing on this point so much कि हम वो कर रहे हैं ना, इसीलिए हमको हमारी हीलिंग में टाइम लग रहा है, इसीलिए ये नेवर एंडिंग लगती है, इसीलिए इतना लॉन्ग प्रोसेस, टायरिंग, एग्जॉस्टिंग, ऐसे लगता है इतने साल हो गए, ये भी चला गया, ये भी सुन लिया, ये भी सुन लिया, सब सुन लिया, अब तो कुछ बचा ही नहीं सुनने के लिए, सब कुछ तो पता है अभी भी,
Yeah.
लेकिन
And people judge you a lot. Then again, you start thinking like go into that spiral. कि खुद तो आप
Exactly.
कर नहीं पा रहे हैं. Something like that.
हाँ 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 हाँ, ऐसा बोलते हैं, ऐसे ऐसे होते हैं बहुत सारे लोग। अभी लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल आई नो मेनी कोचेस who do relationship coaching for people who are going through divorce and separation, but they themselves are divorced. So what? तो लेकिन हमारी ये टेंडेंसी ऐसी रहती है ना कि हमें ऐसे लगता है कि अरे ये क्या हमें रिलेशनशिप उस पर गाइड करेंगे, इनका तो खुद डिवोर्स हुआ हुआ है। तो ये हमारी लिमिटेशन है सोचने की, क्योंकि सबकी अपनी अपनी लाइफ स्टोरी होती है, व्हाई समवन वेंट थ्रू दैट।
Yes, true.
Shuchi, you were going to say something?
I'm trying to recall now. Yeah. So I think I was just adding to the point what you were saying, because it happened with me many times while working with you, that sometimes we can't see what we can't see. So
Absolutely.
so even you have shown me many things which I wasn't willing to see, or I wasn't even aware that, oh, okay, behind the scene or subconsciously this is what going on. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so yeah.
Absolutely. This is what another person, another coach or a counselor or another help, this is what they bring to the table. See, they help you to see what you are either not able to see or not willing to see. Or willing to see is more important, क्योंकि when it's about you're not willing to see, तो आप अपने आप को accountable hold कर ही नहीं पाओगे। आप कुछ ना कुछ डिस्ट्रैक्शन निकाल के उसमें से निकल ही जाओगे, नहीं मेरे को तो नहीं देखना है, तो वो डिले तो होता ही रहेगा, क्योंकि वो चीज जो देखनी है, जो फेस करनी है, उसके ऊपर कोई आपके सिर पे कोई बैठा ही नहीं है आपको बोलने के लिए कि इसको करना है, ये होमवर्क कंप्लीट करना है। तो आपने नहीं किया होमवर्क तो नहीं किया, तो कोई पूछने के लिए थोड़ी बैठा है कि नहीं किया, तो सफर तो आप ही कर रहे हो ना उसको।
Yeah. There was
Ravi, sorry, Ravi just raised his hand.
Yeah, hi, very good evening, Karma. I'm Captain Ravi this side.
Hi, Ravi, yes.
This is the first time I've joined this forum, and it was very interactive. I'm at a juncture in life where I'm little annoyed from everyone, my parents, God.
Hmm. Okay.
How to handle that? Like it has gone to an extent that
Why are you annoyed?
I'm annoyed because I was always upright and honest in my life.
Right.
People were dishonest to me,
Acha.
including my own wife.
Right. So why are you? So why with God? God is also dishonest with you.
No, had he been there, then he would have not. He would have stopped it. So I feel he's not there.
What if this is what he wants you to go through?
No, whatever wrong happened with me, God should have stopped that.
But why?
Because he governs the universe, and I'm a part of that. So it is his responsibility.
So I'm saying कि what if this is the plan that you have to go through that. तो
My
आप बोल रहे हो कि रात भी होनी चाहिए, बस दिन ही दिन होना चाहिए. किसी को अगर रात पसंद नहीं है तो वो बोलेगा कि गॉड ने रात क्यों बनाई है.
that is there. I understand that thing, but I'm little annoyed with him.
हाँ.
I told
So
him to
what
come
is
and
the
meet me.
answer that you're looking for?
I told him to come and meet me. He didn't come.
हाँ.
So then I went to his temple and I broke his temple.
अच्छा. इससे आपको कुछ satisfaction मिली?
हाँ, I had a good sleep.
Okay, that's good. So perhaps that's his way of helping you to release your whatever the built up was.
So now I work in movies, but from last 1 year I have not done any movie also. I'm not doing movies. I'm not accepting offers.
Right. Because you just feel demotivated.
No,
क्या रीजन है मूवीज ना करने का?
I'm annoyed that I'll not work for anyone now. I just run a restaurant these days, and
क्योंकि आपको इतने डिसऑनेस्ट लोग मिले हैं कि it has made you bitter like that. So you
yes,
just don't
yes,
want to deal with people anymore.
I don't want to be with. I'm getting divorced, and my 2 hearings are done. It's a mutual divorce, and I'm getting the final decree in November.
ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है. So अभी आपको इस चीज का आंसर चाहिए कि आपके साथ क्यों हो रहा है?
हाँ, मतलब मेरे साथ ही क्यों हो रहा है? Why me?
आपके साथ ही नहीं हो रहा है, बहुत लोगों के साथ होता है, बट आपके साथ क्यों हो रहा है? आपको इसका आंसर चाहिए.
हाँ.
You are not the only person who's going through hardships. There will be more people who are going through lot more hardships than you. So I'll give you one example. ठीक है, आपकी हार्डशिप
Right.
से रिलेटेड एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ आपको. तो
Right,
आपको
right,
पता
right.
चलेगा कि दुनिया में और भी कितनी हार्डशिप्स हैं. So there is one person I know who is very young, maybe 35 का भी नहीं है, वो भी 32 33 का होगा शायद. और उसका कुछ साल पहले, 2-3 साल पहले उसका एक्सीडेंट हो गया एंड ही पैरालाइज्ड वेस्ट डाउन. तो now he's paralyzed and it's a young family, young kids and all that. And so कुछ साल के बाद, एक्सीडेंट के बाद वो थोड़ा वो हुआ, जब बाहर आया थोड़ा सा, तो one time about 3 or 4 years later after that, हाँ, we used to know each other well, but then फिर हमारा बीच में communication बंद हो गया था because he kind of went in a shell. He just stopped talking to anyone and all that. He just went in a shell. फिर जब वो शहर से बाहर आया, थोड़ा सा 3-4 साल उसको लगे, तो he was one day talking to me and he was asking me, he wanted coaching on one particular topic from me. I said, what is that topic? And he said, I have a young wife and I am disabled waist down. And I can't have any sexual relationship with my wife anymore. And I feel very bad looking at her all the time. So मुझे बहुत अपने ऊपर बहुत खराब लगता है कि ऐसे है. And although she is very dedicated and all that, but I don't want. अब मुझे बार बार यही भी ख्याल आता है कि she might end up having an affair with someone. तो मैं वो भी नहीं चाहता हूँ और मेरे को ये भी पता है कि I am not able to do anything as well. तो ये मैं कैसे बाहर निकलूँ? तो what he wanted to get coached on or talk about is कि how can I have a conversation with my wife to say I'm okay if you want to explore physical relationship with another person. We will still stay as husband and wife and all that. But he said कि ये भी मेरे लिए painful है, but at least I'm deciding that she can do, rather than she going and doing this behind my back and all that. वो मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा दुख देगा. इससे अच्छा है कि I have a conversation with her that you do that. So Actually, so then you can ask why God put him in that situation. Why he has to go through and talk to his wife or go through this kind of scenario and have this conversation with his wife. So God
In
knows
my
where.
case, it was a abusive relationship. She would say, "Why do you get attired so smartly? Why people like you so much?"
Huh, huh. So was very possessive about you.
So she was. She always. She wanted to possess me, like as if she just wanted to keep me in her pocket. Why do you have? Who's this on Facebook? Give me your mobile number.
Huh, huh.
I
I'll check
I
your phone.
So
I'll check your
wanted to
Facebook.
no, I just
yeah,
have a few questions for Ravi. So Ravi, any sport in your, of course you are in me, I do not have. Am I not?
yes, you are audible.
So Ravi,
Your voice is not very clear, Anamika ji.
Anamika, your
is
voice is
it
cracking.
clear?
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit now.
No?
No, Anamika, it's breaking
There
up.
is Anamika ji. There's just humming sound is coming. Either you can leave the group and rejoin. Probably that will solve the technical error.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, no, I guess it is low bandwidth on your side,
Okay.
so
Don't
it's
know
just breaking
what.
up.
Maybe change your headphones or something. Okay, while she's doing that, so yes, Ravi, you were saying, were you going to say more or you finished?
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are. You're audible, Ananta.
Okay, okay. So, Ravi, I had one question for you. That have you played any sport as a child or when you were growing up? Anything that you loved to
Polo
play?
and golf and
Polo and
hockey
golf.
football.
Great, great. So, hockey, football are good sports. So, have you ever fallen in hockey, like hurt yourself,
I
broke your leg,
I
broke
broke
your
my right leg
arm?
and left arm both.
Right. But then at that point of time, what did you do?
I continued playing. Once we won the match, then I went to hospital. Then I was taken to hospital by army. That time I was in army.
Hmm. Okay, okay. So, do you think that breaking your arm actually taught you something?
I used to play center forward and I was little aggressive player.
Hmm. Right. So it taught you maybe patience and how to not be impulsive and handle situations more, in a more balanced way.
After that, I could never play center forward. I was shifted to midfield or back.
Hmm. Right, right. But you didn't leave playing, right? You continued playing
In army,
because
you
you
can't go.
enjoyed
Matlab.
playing.
It's an insult that you can't leave. You
Hmm.
can't leave the battlefield. You can't leave the. You have to win.
Hmm. So what I'm trying to say is that when जब हम छोटे होते हैं, when we are small, so if a child falls or they just hurt themselves or there's an injury, we say that that injury makes them strong. Because just think about a child who is kept in a AC room, is fed with food, and is given all the luxury, and it doesn't have to go out, doesn't have to do anything. Is that child going to be a strong child? Because you are an army, you had to go through a lot of hardships to actually get where you are,
True, true.
right? So if you had not gone through it, would you have become tough the way you are, physically, mentally, intellectually?
I wouldn't have. I would have. I would have remained a. We call it, butter palm.
Yes. So,
They remain like a civilian, basically.
yes, yes. So, just think about it. If you can connect with this, connect with this. But if you cannot, okay, just leave it aside. But I would still like to tell you that you can ask yourself this question: that what is this situation trying to teach me? Right? What do I get out of it in the battlefield of life, in this play of life, in this game of life? So maybe it has come to make you stronger in some or the other ways. It's trying to teach you something.
And that be consistent and sail through this with this life.
Hmm.
Forget the past.
Yeah.
Let bygone be bygone.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. But we cannot give you an answer what it is trying to teach you, but you will have to contemplate it yourself, that what is it trying to teach me? Right? Because nothing happens
No,
just
I
like
think
that.
Anamika is not saying let be gone, be gone. She's saying don't let that way. Learn from it. What is this trying to teach you? So it's not trying to teach you let it be, because I don't believe that is the case. So I take an assumption around your situation as much as you have explained about your wife and all that. I don't know the full details, but just using my experience, I would say that one of the things that you probably suffer from is setting healthy boundaries
Setting.
and setting healthy boundaries with people.
Ah,
Either you may be,
I'm very lenient. Like I.
so this is the result of it. This is the result of it. So what you are facing is a result of that. So if you're now going to say let it be and all that, just forget and move on and all that, what exactly are you moving? You are just taking yourself the way you are. You are not taking the next version of you forward. You're just taking
I
this
shouldn't have
version.
allowed her to hit me. I didn't hit her because she was a lady. I shouldn't have allowed that.
So So yes, so setting healthy boundaries doesn't mean if she's hitting you, you also hit her. But in the first place, that how could that even happen? How can another human being could disrespect, right? Whether it's your wife or anyone. So it's nothing to do with the gender over here that we are talking, but more that how can another human being, how am I allowing another human being to disrespect me? So there is something for you to learn here. This situation has come for you to learn that how to work on your self-respect, how to gain that self-respect back, and set healthy boundaries with people. And and until you learn that, nothing is going to change. Situations will change. You will move forward in life, and life will throw another hard game at you to learn this, because this is the lesson you are supposed to learn now.
Again, someone will misuse me.
Again someone will misuse you, and it will be even bigger problem. So the thing is that this game of life, the level gets tougher and tougher. If you're not going to learn, then the next level is not going to be easier, it's going to be even more tough.
Mm.
So the ball is going to come and hit you even harder next time.
Mm.
So there is nothing here to say forget and move on, because what are you forgetting? What are you moving on? You're just only distracting yourself and not looking at the core issue over here, and trying to resolve the core issue. And the core issue over here is you being not able to set healthy boundaries with people.
Mm. I become more friendly. I give money to them.
Yeah. Yeah. So people are always going to take advantage of it. Why wouldn't they take advantage? जब आप खुद की respect नहीं कर रहे हो, तो why are you expecting another person to respect you? That's just absurd.
True, true, true.
सो बिटरनेस आपको किससे आ रही है? दूसरों के बिहेवियर से आ रही है, लेकिन अलाउ तो आप ही कर रहे हो.
अलाउ तो मैंने किया. हाँ.
हाँ, तो जब अलाउ कर रहे हो, तो आप डोरमैट बन रहे हो और लोग आपके ऊपर चल रहे हैं, तो आपको दुख किस बात का हो रहा है?
I need to set up a threshold that nothing beyond this,
You have to create healthy boundaries. I keep using the word healthy boundaries. अभी क्या है, अभी
Not threshold
aggression
will not
और
be right word.
हाँ, अभी aggression और anger या frustration या grief से ऑपरेट करके बाउंड्रीज नहीं सेट करनी है, because they'll be unhealthy. Right? You have to first heal through this process. You have to grieve through this process, because this is a loss. This is a loss of your own identity. ये सिर्फ एक रिलेशनशिप का लॉस नहीं है, ये आपकी खुद की आइडेंटिटी का लॉस है.
I think
तो को पहले हील करना है, इससे बाहर निकलना है, एक अच्छे स्टेट में आना है, और उस अच्छे स्टेट में आने के बाद हेल्दी बाउंड्रीज सेट करनी है. अभी करोगे वो हेल्दी बाउंड्रीज नहीं होंगी. आप बोलोगे हेल्दी बाउंड्रीज करके करोगे.
बट अभी तो वैसे ही यहाँ डिसअपॉइंटमेंट है, गुस्सा है, तो
हाँ, अभी आप सही स्टेट ऑफ माइंड में नहीं हो, तो इसलिए अभी जो भी करोगे वो अनहेल्दी ही होगा.
Yeah, Akarma, one question here.
Yes.
On all the side. Yeah, so
Yes.
I somewhere read that, bad thing happens to good people and the other way around. So there's a book also being, No More Mr. Nice Guy or so. So do you believe in this? Is this a fact? I mean, यहाँ पे कुछ reality है? Does it really work that way? That bad thing happens to good people? What do you think about this theory?
Personally, I don't believe in bad or good things. I believe there are events, and we term them as good or bad, depending on what works for us and what doesn't work for us. So something good for me could be bad for the other person, something bad for the other person, good for me. So it's only a perception.
Okay.
जो मेरा काम हो रहा है, जिससे मेरे को फायदा हो रहा है, वो गुड हो गई, जिससे मेरे को नुकसान हो रहा है, बैड हो गई. तो मेरा तो एडवाइस लोगों को यही रहता है कि इससे बाहर निकलने की कोशिश करो, एक गुड और बैड की कैटेगरी से बाहर निकलने की कोशिश करो. So basically, we practice the philosophy of Tantra. And the philosophy of Tantra says, Tantra का simple मतलब ये होता है, Tantra philosophy is that everything is fine the way it is already. It is us who put standards, rules, regulations, preferences, ये वो करके हम उसको गुड या बैड बना देते, और फिर हम उन कैटेगरीज में खुद ही फंस जाते हैं, और फिर हम उसमें से पूरी जिंदगी निकलने की कोशिश करते हैं, क्योंकि एज इज एवरीथिंग इज फाइन द वे इट इज. वी जस्ट डोंट सी इट, वी डोंट एक्सेप्ट इट द वे इट इज. हमारे को इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है तो वो बैड हो गई, हमारे लिए फायदा हो गया तो अच्छी हो गई. तो हम हमेशा ये खुशी और गम के खेल में ही डूबे रहते हैं, और चीज़ों को उसी से कंपेयर करने की कोशिश करते हैं. खुशी मिल रही है तो अच्छा हो गया, गम मिल रहा है तो बुरा हो गया. अगर खुशी और गम से ऊपर उठ के देखोगे तो इट्स ओनली इवेंट्स हैपनिंग, and every event happening is trying to teach you something. Even a good thing happening is trying to teach you something, but उससे हम सीखते कहाँ हैं? जब कोई अच्छा होता है तो हम तो सेलिब्रेशन में ही मस्त हो जाते हैं. तो लर्निंग और एवोल्यूशन तो चैलेंजेस में ही होती है. आज तक कुछ नहीं हुआ है. इवन फिजिकल एवोल्यूशन की भी बात करोगे, स्पीशीज की एवोल्यूशन की भी बात करोगे, तो evolution has always happened because environment was challenging, or some sort of challenge was there that pushed us to evolve. As human beings, any species you take, some challenge happened, and that is where evolution happened. So whenever situation comes that challenges us, there is a growth opportunity there. हमें वो दिखती क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि काम करना पड़ता.
And one thing I would like to add to what Akarma is saying. Very good question, Kunal. But my question is that who decides what is good and bad? So when you're saying that bad things happen to good people and whatever, so who told you that this is bad and who told you that this is good, and where is it exactly coming from?
and who's good people and who's bad people.
Yes, and who are,
How do we
I mean,
actually
how do
categorize
we,
people as good and bad?
yes.
Is it like because we all are sleeping? Like मतलब बचपन से just we are seeing things जो society ने चश्मा पहना दिया है, उसी से देख रहे हैं और हमें मतलब और कुछ neutral way पता ही नहीं है. And we all are sleeping.
Yes.
Uh,
So
We are not only
it's
sleeping, we are also not accepting the other people's um,
very
values.
very good word, Shuchi. Actually हम जैसे जैसे बड़े होते हैं, when we grow up as a child, तो हमें जो चीजें सिखा दी जाती हैं, that this is the definition of good people and this is the definition of bad people, उसके बाद हम आंखें बंद कर लेते हैं, हम सो जाते हैं, लिटरली नींद में चले जाते हैं,
right.
and then we, by the same rules and principles जो हमने भी नहीं बनाए हैं, we have not even seen कि what lies beyond that good and bad, बस हम लाइफ उस गुड और बैड की डेफिनेशन से जीते जाते हैं.
And we have not even questioned it, and because those were
No.
projections of others and what we have seen around.
Exactly. So if you just go and see all the philanthropists and people who are like donating a lot of money and charity and creating big institutions, that this name hospital and this name falana and himkana and everything going around, we don't know, right? But just because kisi ne bola ki this is a good act, this is a good act, right? But then we see that something, this person did this. A butcher is a bad person, right? A butcher is a bad person because he kills. But isn't it too linear? I mean, too linear. We don't know what actually has happened with the person who has created those institutions. How many people have they killed? We have no idea, right? And the butcher may be actually a very charitable person in his own life, but no, because we don't see beyond these things. We have very limited, perspectives.
Actually, it happens with all of us. Like no one wanna face this, and like when life comes to us face to face, then only we are just we got shaken up. Then only we are left with no other option but to see it the way it is.
Yes. And then we categorize it as a bad thing. That what did I do and why is life coming to me? Because life is coming to you because so that you can just see beyond what you right now see, right? But we label it as bad right away because we don't want to go through it. So हमने अपनी choices बना ली हैं that this is the good part we choose and this is the bad we want to leave. अब हमने ये भी नहीं सोचा कि क्या है, क्यों है. So at the end, life has no other choice because we are not learning the lesson. It has to come and get us someday. Because otherwise we will not evolve. We will not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kunal, is your question answered?
Yeah, it is. But Anamika, what I feel is that there is a general perception or probably, general way of taking things which are considered to be a very normal behavior when it comes to, good or bad. So there has to be some distinction between these two. And the basis of this is a general acceptable behavior. For example, if we go to a restaurant and a person who's treating the server, the serving person or the waiter in a very respectable manner, and then we have the other
Mm-hmm.
person who's treating them or calling them in a very weird and degrading manner. So that's a very general perception which anybody can say that this is a good behavior, this is a bad behavior. So that's the
Yes.
behavior I was trying to
Kumar,
work with.
Kunal, I will refer what you're saying back to a few minutes back when we were having a conversation on acceptance. Acceptance is about the fact that this is not going to disturb me. So you seeing this happening, disturbing you, is an indication of non-acceptance. Now, acceptance doesn't mean approval. I'm not saying that by accepting we are approving this. I'm not saying acceptance is equal to approval,
Right.
but it is what it is.
Right.
There is
I
no
think,
yeah.
sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, so what happens is that many times we get confused in this thing because we feel that if I accept, that means I'm approving this behavior.
Mhm.
So no, acceptance doesn't mean approval. Acceptance means this is what is happening and it is happening.
Mhm.
If it is disturbing me, then it is a good indicator to me that I don't accept it. And then you have to ask the question, what more things I'm not accepting in life?
I think it's the forgiveness part which was missing. The earlier discussion we were having, it's, the acceptance is there, yes, of the current situation, and when it comes to the past, I think the forgiveness part is somewhere missing because one is not able to comprehend and
Now
digest the other
I'll give
person.
you another point to contemplate, and you don't have to answer this, but you can take it, or if it connects, you can tell. So let's talk about forgiveness yourself, right? Someone did something bad to you, and it impacted you. Because of that, now you have become stronger and better person. If they would not have done that, you would have remained the same person. Let's say Ravi was talking about his wife treating him like that. He now understands that it is him not setting the healthy boundaries that has come. So now that incident has made him look that I need to work on this part of myself and improve. Now, if that incident has improved you, has made you a better person, what exactly are you forgiving the other person for? Instead of forgiveness, shouldn't you be thanking them? Forgiveness still applies, you are bitter. Forgiveness still applies that you don't accept this. But aren't you benefiting? Didn't you become a better person? And if you didn't use that opportunity to become a better person, then yes, then your bitterness is valid. But life has brought you to that point for you to realize that lesson and become a better person. And if those hardships, those negative incidents have made you a better person, then what exactly are you forgiving the other person for? Is that making sense, Kunal?
Yes, in a way, I just have something in my mind. I was just thinking that a person, for example, who's, let's say he's aggrieved, or the person who's being affected because of a certain person's behavior, okay, and now that person is working on himself, who got affected, okay, he's working on himself. He's thinking that I'm learning out of it, I'm getting stronger, and he's undergoing some therapy or so. You know, but in reality, the truth is the person who requires to be a good person is the other one.
But
matlab,
that is
wo,
your but that is your opinion about it. We are nobody to judge how other people should be and what they should learn and not learn. Life has given you opportunity for your own learn. So लाइफ में गुड बैड इवल डे नाइट ये सब कुछ सिखाने के लिए आया है। ये सारी वैरायटीज इस तरह से अगर सबके सब लोग ही गुड हो जाते सबके सब लोग एक ही जैसे हो जाते तो लाइफ वुड हैव बीन बोरिंग देयर इज नो एवोल्यूशन देयर इज nobody has anything to do so ये जो वैरायटी दी गई है ये वैरायटी हमारी एवोल्यूशन के लिए ही दी गई है सो keep the focus on your evolution. As long as you are benefiting from this, as long as you are evolving, forget about what the other person should have or shouldn't have done. ये आपका बिजनेस ही नहीं है. Why is it your business to figure out कि उसको जरूरत थी चेंज होने की. अरे वो हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है उससे आप क्या फर्क पड़ता है. आप बेटर हो गए हो आप उससे हैप्पी नहीं हो क्या. Why is the question still why is it still about the other person कि वो नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ आप हो गए आपको मिल गया अपना रिटर्न इन्वेस्टमेंट का आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम है उससे अभी भी क्वेश्चन क्यों रिमेनिंग है because everyone's on their own journey. उनको नहीं टाइम आया अभी नहीं सीखने का, तो नहीं सीख रहे हो. सीखना होगा तो सीखेंगे, नहीं सीखना होगा तो नहीं सीखेंगे. बहुत चांस मिलेंगे. एक ही लाइफ थोड़ी है सब कुछ सीखने के लिए, बहुत लाइफ मिलेंगे. नहीं सीखेंगे तो नहीं सीखेंगे, वैसे ही रहेंगे तो वैसे ही रहेंगे.
Right.
Why is that your business?
And this example question that you asked, Kunal, that bad behavior and good behavior, right?
Right.
So you're sitting in a restaurant and somebody is not behaving properly, talking badly to maybe a waiter or something. Now, the thing is that there are two things that that gives you an understanding of what not to be. Because if you had not seen what it looks like, what you don't want, how would you understand what you want? Right? So if you don't see black, you won't be able to see white. So there are different ways in which we can experience black and white in life. So that is the first thing. And the second thing is that when we see these kind of people, so there was a very good quote, somewhere I read that people who are hardest to love are the ones who actually need it the most. Right? So those people who are talking like that, and they seem so bad and arrogant. So all these bad things and people and behavior that we observe. So just for a moment, take note what all things are they suppressing within themselves. So it's coming out like that. Right? So actually the thing is कि we feel that this person is arrogant, और ये तो हम बहुत surface level की चीजें देख लेते हैं. But what led him to become arrogant? Right? And then yes, there could be people who are narcissistic, or there could be, so great, learn from it. So make choices. There are 7.58 billion people on earth. It helps you to understand what not to do.
What Anamika is just saying, I just remember, abhi jaise Ravi was saying, ki he now doesn't like to talk to people, not being around and all that, right? तो नाउ रवि को बाहर से देख के कोई जज कर सकता है ना, एक बड़ा एग्रेसिव बंदा है यार, ये तो किसी से बात भी नहीं करता, अपने आप में पता नहीं क्या सोचता है, कितना बड़ा हूं मैं, तो किसी से ठीक से बात भी नहीं करता. बट व्हाट लाइफ हैज डन टू हिम एंड ब्रॉट हिम टू दिस स्टेज, वो तो उसी को पता है ना. तो हम तो बाहर से देख के तो हम बहुत जल्दी जज कर सकते हैं ना कि he shouldn't be like this, he should be like this, he should be talking like that, and he should be not be talking like this. पर उसकी लाइफ स्टोरी तो उसको पता है ना कि how life has treated him and brought him to this. So that's the compassion which we need to move with. Anamika and Shuchi.
Yes, Anamika and Shuchi.
Anamika raised first. So Anamika, you want? Yeah. Then Shuchi, you can. After Anamika, you can talk. Yes, Anamika, go ahead.
Hi, Karma. Hi, Anamika. I just wanted to add something. I remember hearing, seeing a video on Vedas. I don't know what exactly which Veda it was, but the person that saint, he was mentioning that suppose someone comes comes to your home and your child is sleeping there and you are not there, and that robber comes and steals something, and that baby sees it, but he does not have that awareness about good and bad. So for him, that robber is not doing anything wrong. So I just thought what Akarma said a few moments back, that we filter everything based on our perception of what's good and bad. But if we just see it from a detached perspective and learn from it, then maybe the life would become way easier for us.
That's
And
a very good
also,
example.
yeah, and also if we could have that compassion for the other person, because we don't know what made them that way. So yeah, this perspective will just help us make our journey very smooth, I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
अगर
very,
हम
very good
अपनी ये
point.
टेंडेंसीज भी ड्रॉप करना स्टार्ट कर देना, जजमेंट की टेंडेंसीज भी ड्रॉप करना स्टार्ट करना, अगर इतना भी काम कर लेना, तो लाइफ में बहुत कुछ अचीव कर सकते। अगर सिर्फ ये भी एक चीज कर ली ना कि नॉट गेटिंग डिस्टर्ब बाय थिंग्स, गेटिंग डिस्टर्ब, लेट्स से नॉट गेटिंग डिस्टर्ब तो बहुत ही हाई लेवल का गोल होगा। लेट्स जस्ट मेक अ गोल कि गेटिंग डिस्टर्ब लेसर एंड लेसर, just make that go. I will try to get disturbed lesser and lesser. उसमें भी बहुत कुछ उखाड़ने की लाइफ।
Yeah, and I think if we keep the focus on ourselves, that would be better. Instead of fixing the other person, if we try to keep the focus on ourselves and fix what needs fixing in ourselves, then I think that would be a great key to live a better life.
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Suchi, you wanted to say?
Yeah, so yeah, I wanted to add on the same around the same context. So many people find it difficult to understand what acceptance is, and same was the case with me, like before meeting a Karma and Anamika. And why I'm bringing this point just to make everyone aware, like because even if they can benefit it or get some insight from my experience. So even it was difficult for me what acceptance is. I wasn't able to understand. I used to trouble Akarma and Anamika a lot, like with my counter questions and what acceptance is. Then over the time, I understand, like they made me understand, and I also willingly understood it that say if we see the example of someone shared the example of the waiter, like someone treating one person treating them right, and the other person is treating them bad. So the thing is and we are getting bothered because we know this is bad and this is good. And I've been in this similar situation, always used to be, and such situations used to trouble me, and I used to think I'm very good at heart, and then no, say similar kind of question, and I think many people used to have that. So what I understood is what that anyway we can't control, like if someone is treating the waiter like that, it is their karma or they are doing it. What neither we can't change, we can't change it, like we can't change it, we can't tell them don't behave like this, or we can't do anything. We are just getting bothered. So acceptance is, it is what it is, like it took very hard for me to understand it, because I also used to have many questions, but yeah, acceptance is that yeah, it is what it is. It just basically it will stop bothering you that much the way it used to bother you before. You don't question it too much. Am
Yes.
I correct,
Yes.
Anamika and Karma?
Yes. Yes. Because
Yes,
these
that's what I
things,
was actually saying before. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, very nicely you put it, Shachi. Because these things are not biased, right? So if I say that I am accepting this and I'm not accepting that, it is not acceptance at all. So acceptance ho, compassion ho, forgiveness ho, all of these things that we talk about and we discuss so much, वो तो biased है ही नहीं. It's beyond good and bad. So acceptance is of good and acceptance is of bad. Let's suppose, Shuchi, I tell you that I love you, right? But
Hmm.
I tell you that, Shuchi, if you behave this way, exactly the way I like, and then I love you. Otherwise, I don't love you. Am I loving you? I'm not. I am just trying to create some version which was there in my head as per my expectation, as per my whatever. And I'm loving that. I'm not loving Shuchi for what she
Hmm.
is. So if of course there are qualities which you have which I admire. Okay, and there can be things, for an example, I can say, Shuchi, I don't like this about you. That has nothing to do with love. Like and dislike has nothing to do with love at all, right?
Right,
Because
right.
love is just there. It's just there. It doesn't have to do anything with all these things, and likes and dislikes are there in their place.
And I think similar question I used, this question also I used to have with you both many times, like when I used to irritate you or ask too many questions, unrelated questions. And then I used to question, like, if you like me or I'm irritating you so much. So you used to say the same thing, like this is what acceptance is, the way I am or anyone is, like because no one is perfect.
Um, I mean, that's how it is. I mean, literally nothing would impact that love.
Yeah, yeah.
Chandrasekhar has raised his hand.
Hey, good morning. Oh, sorry, good evening, everyone. Yeah, I think what Shuchi's been saying, I've been listening to this, right? The acceptance is sometimes it's difficult because it is all about what's and you don't want, right? Even though people, the way the people treating you differently or the people going through divorce or this thing, if you still want the person you don't accept, like, I know that things are happening, the divorce, but sometimes people more focus on, okay, I want this girl to be my life, I want this person to be my life, even though they're going through the process. But if you keep away these wants and don't wants, then the process is acceptance is easy. I think a lot of people struggle is irrespective of the situation, they always focus on, okay, this is what I want irrespective of situation. That is where a lot of people struggle, right? But again, a lot of people live with more about the other people opinions and expectations. But if we start creating a life ourselves, I mean selflessly, it's not that you can do anything disturbing other person, but the more you focus on yourself, the more you focus on your well-being and have a peace of mind.
And the fact is that we can only focus on ourselves.
Yes.
But the problem is that instead of focusing on ourselves, we will focus on everybody else. We just don't practically we don't focus on ourselves. हमें सबके बारे में सब कुछ पता होता है. We can claim कि I know this person so much. I know what they're liking, disliking. हम इतने confidence के साथ दूसरे का बता देते हैं कि वो क्या है. अपने बारे में बोलने की बात आती है तो हम अपने बारे में भी नहीं बता सकते. अपने साथ हम खुद के साथ 24/7 रहते, खुद को भी नहीं ठीक से जानते, लेकिन दूसरों को अच्छी तरह जानते. ये कुछ अगर ओपिनियन हमें किसी के बारे में कुछ देनी है ना, वो हम बिल्कुल क्लियरली दे सकते हैं. वो हम बता सकते हैं कौन कैसा है, क्या नहीं, कैसा है, अच्छा है, बुरा है, सब वो सब हमें पता है. अपने बारे में कुछ नहीं. Anamika, you raised your hand again, or was it already raised?
Hello.
Do you have
Sorry.
something else to say?
No. Sorry, it was by mistake.
Okay. Cool. So, being a long call today, is there anything else anyone wants to say, or is it time to wrap up?
Yeah, this is Kumar Akarma. I've been not participating in this call where I was active on every Sunday call. It's so interesting to listen to so many so many stories, so many perceptions, and I personally get to learn so much from these just one and a half hour Sunday calls, Akarma and Namita. Thank you so much for that. I mean. Akarma knows my situation where I'm just coming out of one of the relationships, and what all the acceptance and not really getting affected with what others are saying and what others have opinion on you. I think Akarma, let me tell you, I have really come out very well. Just 5 days ago, there was like heated conversation, and she was just messaging what not. She just was blasting at me and all that, and I just smiled and left. This is an amazing change in me, which I have seen in myself being in this group and attending this Sunday calls regularly. Thank you so much for that. And others' behavior is definitely not affecting me anymore, especially in that relationship, whatever she was behaving. So thank you so much, Sachin.
Thanks, Kumar. Your presence is always very valuable, and you always talk about a lot of things that help others as well. So yeah, we always look forward for you to interact as well. I was thinking today you've been very quiet whole time.
Yes, yes. I was just listening, and it was great learning again. It was like a revision. No, it was like a complete revision for me altogether. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone who has spoken. Who has spoken. It takes guts. It takes that thing to really be vulnerable and share whatever you're going through. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kumar. I think this is my first session. I was just listening. A lot of different thoughts and perspectives. So, where it's been coordinating, organizing, I think it's a really wonderful session, helping the people.
Yeah, yeah. And imagine I'm listening to these calls last 2 years. So
This is my first call. So, yeah, again, Akarma, I know we've been running out. I don't want, again, one thing where we're saying that focus on, I've been focusing on myself. I really don't want you saying that we can focus on others 24/7, but I'm busy engaging myself, being active, reading books, trying to be, being mindfulness and focus on meditation. That's, I'm at a completely transformed to a new person. Nothing bothers me outside the world, right? So I'm just trying to see. I've been seeing surrounding a lot of my friends been struggling. I've been just trying to coach a little there, but again, I'm not the coach. I may be just coaching them, but I think it's a lot of a good conversation. Participation always makes you a little bit relieving. Look at the future ahead.
That's wonderful. Jaspreet raised her hand. Jaspreet, you want to say something?
Yeah, hi, good evening, Karma, Anamika, and everyone. So it was a very great session. I was listening since in the evening, and I tried my efforts for attending this session on Sunday call. I was missing it since from the last 2-3 months. Yes, but I
We were
wanted to,
missing you.
yeah. Okay. My question is with Anamika, like she said about pure love, true love. There is one another thing also I have experienced it related to love. To whom you love the most, you always like, irrespective of his or her faults, you always ignore that because that's a true love. You're accepting him or her as it is. So, what do you say about that one? Like that's a pure love, I feel it, because you are just आपको उसका सब कुछ अच्छा लगता है, फिर तो आपको उसकी negativity भी नहीं नजर आती. But in love
Yeah.
marriages, what happens is later on when they are into marriage and then they find faults into that,
Namika
तो
is
फिर
probably
नजर आना
the
शुरू हो
best
जाता
person to answer that.
I have of understanding to I was mistaken.
Namika, your voice is breaking.
Voice is breaking, yeah.
Really it doesn't work
No, still breaking.
Not
It's
audible?
breaking.
Okay, I'll join back.
No, not yet.
She's just joining back.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was so mistaken. The definition of yeah.
You're
You
still
just
breaking up.
right. Oh God.
voice is not clear, Anamika. It's still breaking up.
Is it fine now?
Hey, Jasprit, while Anamika,
Is it
audio
fine now?
now.
No.
It's breaking. I think this is due to network issue.
So the concept of, again, that's another great question, right? Conditional love, unconditional love. I think you can only find the true selfless love between the mom and the child.
Yeah,
And in
yeah, yeah.
relation you talk about love, I think we should not start using the love. It's about the likes and desires. If you're still feeling that it's a conditional love. So just I like passion. Other than mother and a kid or father and the kid, everything else is like just transaction and the benefits.
Yeah,
Am I
that's
And I
right.
could
audible now?
and I could recollect a quotation where Anamika mentioned in one of the calls. is very different from loving someone you need. Did you all hear? Needing someone you love is very different from loving someone you need.
Yes, it's a need, right? It's a need and wants and desires. Um, it took me almost 40 years just to almost understand. The selfless love people call love, it's just the the wants and desires. The true love always you can find between the
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
We are all evolving. We are all evolving. We're all learning. We're all sailing the
Very.
same boat.
No, very, very good point. Very good point, Kumar. So I'll just share one more thing, which I understood over a period of time, that love involves letting go if it allows the other person to grow. Right. So if we want to hold on to the other person in the name of love, and we can clearly see that I am not growing, I'm stuck in the relationship, that person is stuck in the relationship, that is not love. That is totally coming out of need and clinginess, and our own wants and desires, and moreover our fears that we are not able to uh, accept this fact that we can be alone or we can survive alone. So it's fear, it's not love. Right. So um I have done that mistake once, very, very, like, badly, Jaspreet, the way you described love. I
Okay.
I used to
Okay.
believe, yes, I used to believe this thing that सही कर रहा है इंसान, गलत कर रहा है, जो भी कर रहा है, my love is there. Uh no, that love is not equals to approval of everything. So I can love somebody even when I disapprove their actions. Right. So if I'm seeing that my partner is doing a
Mothers
wrong,
mothers do that all the time. अगर कुछ गलत होता है तो चप्पल भी पड़ती है ना.
Correct. Absolutely.
yeah, and I have done that with my partner, and I realized that it was actually hazardous to him and hazardous to me over such a long period of time, such has so much hazardous that it literally destroyed a lot of things. Right. So if I had realized this thing earlier, that I don't have to approve everything, I don't have to, so maybe I would have saved a lot of things, because love has nothing to do with it. I can still say that I love him even if he's not there in my life. I can still say I love him, because I'm not afraid anymore to hold on to him and say that you have to be there in my life for me to love you. Like, there's this movie दिल है मुश्किल, उसमें एक डायलॉग मुझे इतना पसंद है, that सना से मोहब्बत करने के लिए मुझे सना की ही जरूरत नहीं है. Right. So love has nothing to do with all these things. If we say that we hold on to things so tight, so and we see that it's not meant to be held on like that, then it's not love, it's actually something else.
yeah, but why?
Yeah.
Question is, maybe you miss him. It's not really you love him for something you want. You remember and miss him, right? It's not the love, but you don't expect if it's a love. And the second question, Anamika, when we been always discussing about, okay, that person doing wrong, this person, but when do we self-realize that there could be a mistake? Why, when we feel that we might be doing wrong, right? Instead of always pointing others.
Absolutely, very, very good point you have brought out, Chandrasekhar. I was exactly in a similar situation to what Ravi was explaining. I was questioning it exactly the way Ravi was questioning, and I was getting the same question. I was feeling the same, and I had to sit, and I literally had to sit for a week, 10 days, 15 days, and every single day I would take out my book, I would journal, I would talk to a karma, I would talk to my mom, and I would just be there, and I realized that what mistakes have I made? Big mistakes. So I was totally a part of it. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. So that's the one thing before we ask a question, right? Are we perfect, right? Are we good? Only we are just pointing mistakes on others. Because most of calls we hear is, okay, that person did, I'm going through hard times, but what are we doing ourselves? right? Are we that perfect that we are pointing others? Maybe that person also thinking the same about you.
Yes, yes. uh, okay, that's a very long story, but what you're saying is very right. So it's there's no point, blaming anybody for what happens and what happened and whatever. So
Yeah,
what has happened, right?
yeah,
So actually, there's nothing that I can do, but there's certainly something that I can do with it is that not to repeat the same mistakes, right? At least once I'm aware of those mistakes. Earlier, I
yeah,
was not aware, I was not knowing, so fine, it was going on. But once I'm aware, I'm conscious of it, then it's my responsibility to figure out what mistakes I made, and totally I take like full responsibility of that it was my choice. I made mistakes, and I didn't do what I was meant to do.
yeah.
It's totally, it's not, it's
I think this conversation is probably going on a different track right now. Um, Jet, Jaspreet was asking the question. Um, so I think the answer to Jaspreet's question so far, what we are saying is that Jaspreet is that you can love another person, and that doesn't mean you cannot dislike any actions or disapprove any actions that they are doing. So we talk about mother's love is the ultimate thing or father's love is the ultimate thing. They also don't approve all the actions. Which mother and which father has approved all the actions of their kids? So that if we are taking that example, then from that example, what we are learning that love and this are two different things. So we can still love another person, but at the same time can disapprove and dislike some of the actions or some of the things that they're doing. And it is totally okay to verbalize it, to say it. And if you're not able to do it, then that's a thing to look into. If you're accepting all the bads of the other person that you feel is like that and not able to verbalize it, then that is coming out of fear, not love.
Yes, yeah, rightly said.
Hmm.
That's what sometimes some children also gone through those strange relationship with their parents also. So it doesn't mean that although it's a pure love, but still that understanding and disapproval
I,
of some actions are not
I was
acceptable.
coming to the same point, Jaspreet.
Yeah,
um, that see, if mothers and mother child relationship was so, mother child or mother father child relationship was so perfect in the world, um how
yeah,
come children still go on
becomes
doing,
right, right,
yeah, so
right.
there's so much disharmony in the society, misalignment, we see it, like we can sense it all around, right? If it was so perfect, तो फिर प्रॉब्लम ही क्या थी? द थिंग इज कि जैसे कि अकर्मा बोल रहे थे कि चप्पल पड़ती है, जबकि आई हैव अ वेरी डिफरेंट व्यू पॉइंट कि पेरेंट्स को जिस टाइम पे एक्चुअली रोकना होता है बच्चों को, वो नहीं रोकते हैं। इसके लिए क्योंकि वो भी अपने सेट डेफिनेशन से आ रहे हैं फ्रॉम देयर जनरेशन, तो दे आर पासिंग ऑन द सेम थिंग, सेम rules and same principles and same whatever to their children, the same way of living, right? तो वो अगर ऐसा है, क्योंकि अगर प्योर लव जहाँ पे होता है तो वी ऑल्सो सी अदर्स एज अ पार्ट ऑफ अस, और जब हम मान लो कोई गलती कर रहे हैं, हमें दिख रहा है, तो हम आईना दिखाते हैं ना अपने आप को, तो why not see the mistakes of your kids, the good and the bad both of course, but नहीं, एक्चुअली आई सी कि मदर्स का लव एक्चुअली और ज्यादा ब्लाइंड होता है, कि वो
Correct,
अपने मतलब
correct.
दूसरों के सारे बच्चों की गलती दिखती है, बट अपने बच्चे की गलती
अपने
नहीं
बच्चे
दिखती
की
है।
नहीं दिखती, हाँ,
हाँ,
correct,
मतलब माय किड इज
absolutely.
परफेक्ट, रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड
Hmm,
इज बैड।
correct, yeah. That's the most disadvantages of pure love.
या
So another perspective of thinking of your own journeys. Yeah, thank you so much. You always do fabulous things and give us another vision of thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank